My big goal for going to New York was to be in those spaces, to occupy the same spaces where Harry and Meghan either stood or dined or whatever. I just wanted to be in the same space as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, or have a chance to visit those places. So I did make it to Melba's, as you know, which ate up a lot of time, because after I ate at Melba's, then I went back to the hotel and slept like I had just eaten Thanksgiving dinner. So I will own up to it. That ate an entire day. I only had 2 full days there, and one day was devoted to Melba and taking a little bus tour, but most of it was Melba, and I don't regret it at all. Clearly worth it. Especially when I got that coconut pineapple cake. That was a win-win for me. And so then the next day, of course, I got another full day. So I decided to have like a really good breakfast, because that's the one thing that I missed out on. And so I had the Eggs Benedict, and it was at a diner called the Brooklyn Diner, which is actually, I won't say it's a tourist trap, but I don't think the locals eat there. But in spite of that, it was a great room, great atmosphere. The staff were super nice. And the food was really, really good. And so after that, I was like, okay, don't eat too much because you're going to go to sleep. Go to the One World Trade Center. So I went and took the number 1 train. I love riding the subway in New York because I like to look at people. I'm a people watcher. I'm always interested in what people are wearing and, their mannerisms and such. Always a big kick for me in New York is to watch the people. Well, once you get off the train, you see like this room that kind of looks like heaven. It's all white and awashed with light. And yes, it's the Oculus. I believe they call it the Oculus. The architecture is like almost like another dimension. Beautiful, beautiful, like space that is, it's like ribs that are spanning this big wide open space. I mean, I wouldn't even call them columns because it really just kind of wraps around, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I've seen it on television, and I wanted to see it for some time in person. And there I was. I'm like, gosh, I cannot believe I'm here. I'm such a tourist, but I couldn't believe I was there. I'm like, wow, I'm really here. And it's just as beautiful and breathtaking as it appears on television. So I was glad for that. And then exit the Oculus and make your way up to the street level, where you could actually see the fountains that occupy the footprints of the original Twin Towers. Now, I have to tell you, those fountains, the way they catch the light, the soothing, like, I guess, roar of the water, like you're standing by a waterfall, and it's very tranquil. It's just very tranquil. And with the sun beaming into those beads of water, it was just like diamonds, like diamond waterfalls. And even though I was nervous about being there, because I was good until I started reading the names. And once you read the names, then you have to acknowledge that this was a person who woke up that day and went to work and never came back. So I read a few names, and then I had to pull back from that and just reflect and, thank God for the life that I have, and, for all the people in my life. That was what I walked away with. It wasn't like that overwhelming sad feeling. It was one of thanks and joy and gratitude. And so from there, I made my way around to the entrance to the World Trade Center, One World Trade Center. And at that point, I noticed that they had this beautiful globe. Now, at first I thought this was like a replacement for the one that was damaged at the Twin Towers, but This is actually part of a two-part sculpture. So, according to the information I have, September 17th, 2021, the EXO World sculpture is a 12-foot in height and 24-foot long. It is inspired by the game of jacks, which is played by many cultures worldwide. So it's called EXO, hugs and kisses, I guess, but inspired by the game of jacks. So the other sculpture inside of the Oculus is called EXO Play. And as you can see, it is another version of the internationally played game of jacks. So it's a way for people to connect. So recognizing the doorway, I realized, okay, so this is where they asked Meghan and Harry to pose for a photo outside of the World Trade Center. And inside is that escalator. What am I, from Mayberry? The escalator that they used when they left the observation deck. So that, I'm just like, oh wow, I'm right here. I remember this spot. And then once you're inside, of course, there's like the displays and everything. Enough stuff to try to teach you a little bit about the building and about the city before you make your way upstairs. And then, of course, there's that spot where you take the photos so they can try to sell it to you later. A way to remember your day at the World Trade Center, or One World Trade Center. And, and me, I don't want to do all that stuff. I just want to get to the view. So I was able to take the elevator up myself. They were not very busy. And once I reached the top, there was one more presentation. And I won't give you the spoiler. I'll let you experience that yourself, because that was pretty amazing the way they played it. And then after you see it for yourself, you say, oh, that's what you were talking about. And so finally, they let us into the observation floor. Actually, it's 2 floors used for observing and taking in the view and the beauty of the city. Spectacular. I must have done about, maybe 10 laps around the top floor there. And, once I took a measure of the place, and I stood in what I thought was the same spot that Harry and Meghan stood. After that, I sat down, rested a bit, and then I was ready to go, because I had to get out of there, because I wanted to make sure that I had a chance to eat something light for lunch, and then I would make my way over to the Intrepid Museum so that I can try to catch a glimpse of Meghan and Harry. And you know what? It all worked out. Anyway, squaddies, I thought I would share these photos with you. And I wish I could have, made it up to that school that they visited, but I had to do that next time. Not nearly long enough of a trip, but I had a great time. And thank you for all of the well wishes, kind thoughts, and support that I have received from you all. Your words and kindness and comments was a big motivation for this trip. That's it for now. Thanks for watching Royal Sussex.